Hello, friends, it's Simone. It's Sunday morning, June 2nd, 2024, and a cat is approaching because I just started talking. I'm finally updating my reading journal again. I did not film a video last week, but today I just want to play. And so I thought I'd take you along. I'm going to update my reading journal, and then I had an idea to decorate these next 2 pages here because I have 3 books that I want to put in here. And then basically this is full. And then I talked about this box, and it's dusty and cat hairy a long while back. This is my creative inbox where I just throw in things that pertain to my creative stuff that I don't necessarily know what to do with or that I want to get into later. And I was looking for something yesterday, which is my pens from my pen case stuff. I still haven't started. It's June. I've been talking about this for over a year now, year and a half. This pen has been inked since January this year. And I was greatly inspired by Little Coco Studio. I think that's the name. And of course, I don't remember her name. I don't know if you're the same, but I just remember people by their social media handles. Yeah, that's how I do this. And so she was filling in her fountain pen journal log, a long-term project. And I've been meaning to start and work on this. And so I watched it yesterday and decided, you know what, let me pull out the things and just start. But that meant I had to dig through this whole box. And so I made several piles. And one pile is filling in my junk journal. That's what I want to do today. And then I still have so many things that I want to go through and put away. And maybe we can do that too. I don't know how long it's going to take because I've already talked 2 minutes and 40 seconds for an introduction. So let's do the reading journal first, as we usually do. I talked about this book previously, but I found that I hadn't logged it yet. And I do log books that I start and don't finish. I don't add them, I don't number them, but I put in a DNF. And this is called The Wishing Game. By Meg Schaefer. Of course, it was on audio, and I just recently listened to an episode by the Currently Reading podcast where they talked about did not finish books. And I liked the concept of you don't really have to hate a book to abandon it. There are several reasons. Maybe it's not right now. Maybe it's too scary. Maybe, especially with audiobooks, you just can't get along with the narration. Something is off. And for this, I put this on my holds list at some point. I don't actually even know when. Libby, though, actually has the function. They have like a feed on what you do with dates. So you could go back and check when you put it on hold. But I didn't write it down when I put it on hold. And when it became available and I borrowed it from the library and I started listening to it, I was super confused about what the story was actually about, and it just didn't vibe with me at that specific moment. And so I decided to to stop listening to it. I wasn't sure why I placed it on hold. The story didn't grab me. Or, well, actually, the first 30 minutes or so didn't grab me, because that's also something there's with audiobooks. I have found I'm more giving with my time. If you were aware, and if you have watched my snippets from my desk videos with my reading journals updates, then you know that I often listen to audiobooks, mostly listen to audiobooks when I'm at work. And so when I start an audiobook and I'm working, then maybe I'm not stopping to listen to this after 10 minutes. Maybe I'm giving a book 30 minutes, an hour, before I decide that it's not for me. This is not how I would actually read books. When I read books, either electronic versions or paper versions, I tend to be much faster to abandon a book if it doesn't grab me in the beginning, or if I don't really know what I'm actually reading, like what am I going to get into, then I'm much more likely to abandon it. I have given audiobooks a lot more time, and for the most part, it has paid off. I think just the last 3 books that I listened to, and one of the books that I'm talking about today as well. First of all, I'm giving them more time because sometimes it takes me a little bit longer to get used to the narrator, and I don't want to miss out on a book that I didn't give myself the chance to get used to the narration. It's really interesting when I'm listening. In the beginning, I'm like, oh, what is this? I don't vibe with this. And when I'm 30 minutes in, sometimes I change my mind completely, and I like the way the narrator, the voice, their, I don't even know how to say it in English, their frequency possibly is the right word. The melody of their voice, all of this, I need to give time to get used to. And I have learned to not abandon an audiobook quite as fast as I used to. So The Tainted Cup, for instance, was one where I wasn't sure if I would enjoy the narrator. A Gentleman in Moscow was so literary and it took me about 30% until I could get behind the book and I wanted to listen to it, finish it. Same with Hello Beautiful. This is a family drama. A very slow-paced book, in my opinion. And I probably wouldn't have read this book in print or, with letters. It doesn't really matter if it's digital or paper. But I stuck with it and I really enjoyed listening to it. So I am giving my audiobooks quite a bit more time than I would do the printed version. But this one just wasn't the right one for me at the moment. And I'm not really mad about abandoning books. Maybe I'll come back to them, but there are so many books. I don't really even have to. Like I don't have to feel guilty for not finishing the book. I don't have to do anything. It just wasn't right at that specific time. And maybe it comes up again at some point, and maybe it doesn't. That's totally fine. The next book I read was Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. So this was 24, 25. Before I Let Go. By Kennedy Ryan. And of course, I listened to it and I really enjoyed it. It was if I'm not mistaken, the author is an author of color, was romance, and it felt like it had a lot of depth. Now, this is something that I'm not sure why I feel that way, but I want to mention it and put myself out there as a total, I started reading books that were fast-paced, like Agatha Christie is not necessarily fast-paced, but I loved Miss Marple. I loved, when I was a teenager, there was a German book series called The Three Question Marks, Die drei Fragezeichen. They had tons of these criminal cases that were always set up in the same way. And I would borrow one or two from the library every week, among other books. But those were like, if none of the other books worked, those were easy, quick, fast reads for me. So I've always, when I got older, I tended to love those easy to read rom-coms, romance novels. Didn't even care if they were open door, closed door, just fast-paced, really easy to read, feel-good, happy ending books. Or with the crime series, there was a case to be solved, and it was solved at the end. There wasn't much, in between the lines. And when I did research on Kennedy Ryan, I saw that she was a very prolific romance novel writer. And for some reason, that irked me. And I'm wondering, why am I so, just because she's a prolific romance novel writer, you're now dissing the book? I enjoyed this book, really. I really enjoyed it. I felt like there was a lot of depth. As I said, there were harder topics, and when I listened to it, I felt like they were dealt with really delicately. And then I research it, and then I now feel differently about the book. That is so... I can't even with myself, And I just wanted to mention this because sometimes... why am I even making that distinction? It felt good to me. I felt like I got substance. So what does it even matter? And I think I should add, there are some trigger warnings. There's death before childbirth of the child. There is divorce. I don't there's no violence, abuse, but those topics are dealt with, and it was with deep topics. And it didn't felt like they were touched upon, just like of course they were used to tell a story, but it wasn't just surface level, it went deeper, and you got to understand where the characters came from and what their communication problems were, with deep topics. And it was quite spicy at times, but that felt like it belonged. And I already placed the second book on hold because I decided that I am not letting myself be that person who judges a book by its genre. Really. And then I decided I needed a palate cleanser, and so I read, because I already had borrowed it from the library, I read Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, which the name of the author sounds familiar. And she is one of those, is that called rom-com? Jimenez. Writers, and I just did some research because I wanted to know, have I read books by her before? But I haven't. It doesn't seem like I have read. I didn't recognize any of the descriptions of the books as a book that I have read before. I did, however, in previous years, especially in the summer, I would just like binge read these types of novels. So I might have read one and just completely forgotten about it. That can be a thing for sure. Again, there is trigger warnings of abuse. So if that is something that you don't feel comfortable reading, you shouldn't. And it was just nice and wholesome. It was a guy who lives in a rural place somewhere in the States, a small town community, how they care for each other. And then the woman is from a rich family, and they're, as the title suggests, their worlds are completely different. And they meet, fall in love, and she doesn't see a way of being able to let that love flourish because of the social discrepancies. And the whole book is basically how she finds herself and her own voice, which was interesting. It did feel a bit like, her world is like this, and she's the problem. He's the handsome guy who is open and basically doesn't have any problems because he's so wholesome and so precious. And a little bit of recipe card book romance feeling I got from this. This wasn't even a complete grammatically correct sentence, but it was still enjoyable. Definitely usable as a palate cleanser, especially if you're listening to the audiobook. It's read from his perspective and from her perspective, which is something that I'm always a bit wary about, because you have to be okay with two different people's narrations and voices. But it worked, and it's very short. So lovely. Palette cleanser romance. Before I Let Go was narrated by two people as well, and their accents were very southern. This whole book plays in Atlanta, and of course, me as a German non-native, I don't recognize dialects, or is that even a dialect? If that is actually from that location, but it felt very southern. And it was something that I had to get used to. And in the beginning, again, I felt like maybe this is not for me because of the way they speak. But once I got used to the narration, I actually felt it was authentic, which was really cool. A great experience. So that's the 3 books that I was reading. I just started, and I didn't put it here, The Thieves' Gambit. It's one of those puzzling books that I really enjoy. So I'm giving that a try. I was going to read Anthony Ray Hinton's book, The Sun Does Shine. But yesterday morning, I thought I was ready for it. Yesterday afternoon, I wasn't anymore. So I'm giving myself one more book in between, again, as a palette cleanser, not from the books, but from real life. And then I'm going to tackle that one. I have had The Sun Does Shine on hold and also borrowed it from the library before, but I have to say that I'm really afraid of listening to it. And I'm just admitting here to my white fragility. I'm really afraid to listen to what happened to him. But I'm going to listen to it. This is the next book after the one that I'm reading, Thieves' Gambit. I need to put the author's name in the description box. I will link all the books that I'm listening to here. But yeah, so that's a short interlude before I'm going to tackle that book. I'm going to write those books down too. So I can link them in the description box below. And now I thought that I wanted to decorate this. I don't have a specific book theme in mind, but when I saw this paper, I thought I could just fuzzy cut the bottom part of this, because I will throw this away later, and then see how I can use this to decorate the pages. And I'm thinking, let me just cut around here. Okay, and I thought I might, maybe I'll do this, cut around here. And then I will just put those here in the corners on the left and the right side, which I really love doing, or repurposing things like that. But that also adds so much ephemera to your stuff, because if I would just throw this paper away, it's note paper, instead of repurposing part, then I would use more of my ephemera too. Now, there's positives and negatives when doing things like that. So I could put this right here, and I'm just going to do it right now. I'm not going to think too much about what this looks like, or if I'm going to like it in the end. I usually put 6 books, 8 books on one page, or well, and then I can just move along and use something else and decorate it. But I knew that this was going to be a really easy, ouch, What did I do to myself right now? Easy decoration to this reading journal. It also really helps if you're not too invested. That sounds weird. I'm using this to log my books, and it's just a list. It's nothing fancy, you know, it doesn't have to look any certain way. So I'm really, when you don't really care, then sometimes the results are the best. I've noticed that a lot when I'm trying to make something really pretty and super elaborate, then sometimes it turns out and I don't like it at all. And then when I don't care and I'm just trying this, I am super impressed by how it actually looks. Yeah, nothing more to say about that. Am I going to put the bee close to this flower as I did here? Maybe here? She's flying over there. I think I want it here instead of here because, so now here is the professional person. This is very red, very heavy, very dominant on the page. This is not. So by putting this bee over here, I'm balancing out the spread, if that makes sense to you. I also could just put it over there. Then I would put a lot of focus on this side and not at all. And now I feel like it's pretty balanced. I have a focal point here, and then I'm looking over here to look at this bee. Bzz. And yeah, so there's that. Done with this. And then I'm going to just glue stuff into my book. I have already sorted that last night, but I just was too tired and not really in the mood of sticking things down. But sticking things down, this is coming off, so I think what I'm going to do is just use some packing tape and go over here, but I'll do that at a later date. I also just yesterday I saw this and I was like, what am I going to do? Where am I going to put this? And so I decided to just put it on the outside. You know what I did when I was a child? And actually not just a child, like a tween, 12-ish, 11-ish, I would write my name on the wall, or for instance, wooden shelves. And then when my mom saw this and asked who did this, I was totally denying that I did this. And she was like, it's your name. I'm like, yeah, no, I didn't do this. Oh my God. My poor mom. So there is some letters or notes that I want to add here. And I'm just going to stick them down without really no real rhyme or reason behind it. Just because I can. I have had a different junk journal previously, and it just didn't work well for me. So I made another one. I had one of those before. I just take papers that I have, notebooks that I specifically purchased to make junk journals, and then I bind them, and it's not that many pages. Am I just going to leave it like that? Yeah, I'm actually, yes, just going to leave it like that. Maybe I'll add those. I made those last night. My friend Wendy Sue. She has a YouTube channel here. She's on TikTok. She does these people things, splotches, to swatch inks. And they look so cute. And the funny thing is, they're so random. But also, look at this guy. He is super pissed about something. I don't really know what exactly he's pissed about because I don't know. And these two up here look really clueless. Like, oh, okay, let's hang, I guess. I don't know. So maybe I'll just cut those out and stick them there. This book is not dated. I'm just sticking things where I like them to be, because I like how it looks, and I'm not requiring myself to journal about it or write anything in here. This is basically just a glue book. And I was actually, at the beginning of the year, this was basically me giving myself a last chance to have this. Because I just wasn't sure if I wanted to invest the time. But since I actually gave myself permission to not write anything, to just use this as basically a glue book, it's been manageable, and I don't really go in here a lot of, like, I'm not using this every week. I'm not even using this every month. Originally I thought I was going to get in here more often, but I don't even have that many things to stick in here. And so I think I actually don't know when the last time was that I stuck stuff in here, but it's the beginning of June. And I feel like the last time I talked about this was maybe in the beginning of the year, January-ish, maybe the beginning of February. And it doesn't, so this is the stack that I want to put in here. And it doesn't feel overwhelming because I'm just, gluing stuff in. I could do this totally watching YouTube videos, but I decided to take you along because I don't really have to talk much today. So that's one of those. This one was, I don't even know who gave this to me, but I just stuck it in here, and then here is this one I also stuck in yesterday. This doesn't have anything to do with that, but I liked how it overlapped. So I think I'm just going to go with the next page. I'm not going to sort through this and think about it too hard. This is just mindfulness practice. And I'm going to put this to the top right here. And so I have this. This is a postcard from Yusekai. And I really like it. I feel I want to keep it. Or I could send it to someone. But who? Oh my goodness. I just realized this is the bear that they gave us in maybe 2019. There's these dice that were included in one of the Hobonichis. This is the spoon that came with it. This was one of the sign pens that came with it. I totally like this, so maybe I will put it here. I'm just going to stick this here, going to get some tape to stick it in. Okay, so I could use this for something, but I don't really know what for. Maybe a cover, a journal cover? How would this fit on? So I'm not, that's like weird. It's not a Hobonichi. I could put this on the front or the back of my, do Do I like this here? Do you see anything even? No. Maybe I'll just put it right here for now. Yeah, I like having it here for now. I don't want to commit to putting it anywhere yet, just yet. I have gotten much better to committing things, but it seems like I love this. I have had this for so long and I haven't put it anywhere, but I'm going to put it down now. I think this was an REI ad. Okay, and then this was sent to me by my friend Lorelei. Is there space anywhere else? I'm just going to go back and check. But it feels like this is the place where I can put this. Maybe it would look better somewhere here, so there's more contrast. I think that's what I'm going to do. And then sometimes there's postcards that I put on this pile and then I decide, no, you know what? And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about in a second. Yeah, I don't like this. Let's cut this straight. Okay, let's go here. Alrighty, so, maybe I'm going to cut this in half because I don't want it to go over to that side so much, so I can't, I don't even know why. Then I'm going to go here. Alrighty, so stuck in. Next one. This postcard, for instance, I'm like, it's nice, but I don't need it, and I'm actually going to be really okay. So I hope you're not crying. I'm crying. No, you're crying. I'm not crying. Wow, sorry. Sorry for the shakes. I think I decided that there was no more space here. Yep, I'm pulling out my big equipment here because it's easier and cheaper than using the glue stick. I do not usually, or there is branded tape for this gun. I am using cheap non-archival tape. I think I get like 20 rolls for 20 bucks ish. I think I'm going to rip this off here. I just want to keep this part. Yep, and I'm going to stick it right here. Do I? No, I'm not. Okay, I'm just going to stick it here because again, it's a lot of nice contrast here. Yup. As you can see, no rhyme or reason. It's just, I don't want to throw these things away. And I totally could. And maybe if I am going to move again, maybe downsizing myself or so, this would be one of the journals that I would get rid of first. And that's okay. I just, I'm okay with knowing that this is a journal that might leave my place, my house. Someday. I think I'm going to glue this in here as well. But am I going to maybe possibly use tape? No. No, I'm just going to do the same thing as I just did. Oh my God. You know what the really bad thing is? I never had this problem, but recently, oh, someone mentioned, I think I talked about this before, because someone said that they had an air purifier and it would help really a lot with cat hair and stuff. Because I have so much cat hair everywhere in my studio. And I've been vacuuming. So the downstairs almost on a daily basis recently. I will swap. Like I will do the living room, dining room, kitchen area one day. And then the other day I will do the studio, the hallway, and the climbing wall. And doesn't really help much with the cat hair. Alrighty, this is down. Okay, and then I have this. No, I don't think I like this. Do I like this? Yes, I do. So I am going to use tape right here. And I think you saw me marking it with my finger, so I had an idea of where it would not need to be taped. How are you today? I'm kind of low-ish. And then I was thinking of sticking this sticker here. I have had this for a while. And this is totally cool. I could... Huh. Hold on. So I've been Did I not stop the video? Did I not stop the video earlier? I don't know. I've been doing daily inkings of my pens. And I hope this could go here. What do you think? Wouldn't this be fun? Is there another open space that it will go much better? No. I think this side is the one. And I think I'm just going to stick it on there and see what happens. Thanks, glass. I said I was going to put it right here. I hope it's going to, you know, last for a little while on here. But oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this now. It's leaking. I mean, you know, I put it on the side. So I'm glad it didn't leak more than just that. So what else? This is a little teeny tiny bear from White Bear Pens. Maybe I can stick this somewhere where it... Oh, I like this. This is purple. All of this is purple, and then this is a purple pen. So yes to this. I sent Michaela a 2024 sticker in the beginning of the year sometime, and she sent these back to me. This one is a postcard that I received from Mitz, and it has my address on it, so I want to make sure that I don't share it. Maybe I can actually really want to stick this in like so I can see the decoration. It looks really lovely on the other side. Okay, stay there. Let me get 2 of those. Yeah, I hinted at it. I'm not in the best spirits right now. Got a really big damper yesterday. And I'm trying to swallow and get to terms with what I learned. And it's not the end of the world, for sure. It's just kind of disappointing. This is 2 papers that Lorelei sent me, and I can just stick them in here, but I could also keep them for a future junk journal. And I'm thinking that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to put those to the side and not put them back into this bucket, into my inbox, but I'm going to actually put them away. Do you know what you are? You are a marvel. You are unique. In all the years that have passed, there's never been another child like you. Your legs, your arms, your clever fingers, the way you move. You may become a Shakespeare, a Michelangelo, a Beethoven. You have the capacity for anything. Yes, you are a marvel. Oh, man. And then this one, be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. I like this. This feels like I should put this into my quote book, which I repurposed. I was thinking that I was going to put projects in here, but then, was this 2020? No, 2021. Still didn't work well. So that was July. And then I decided, nope, I'm going to put quotes in here, or like some stuff. And I just really like it. Like how this is turning out. And so that's what I'm doing with this. I'm probably just going to cut this down so it's going to fit on this. That means... And I'm also not going to go for perfection, even though it's going to be hard to accept if it's crooked. But if I'm going to go for perfection, I'm not ever going to finish anything. And so I am going to just live with imperfection and learning to live with it. Alrighty, done. I'm going to stick this right here. Yep, I like this a lot. So yeah, so that's basically what I'm going to do, or what I'm often doing seems like every 6 months, maybe every 4 months, just going through the stuff and sticking it down, putting it somewhere. My original idea, as I said, is putting it into my junk journal, but then I might come across things that go better into one of these. And my original idea was to then move to a Hobonichi, but I'm not really sure. We'll see how I feel when this is filled up. Okay, so where are we? We have these left, and these are all from Casey, I believe. Yes, so maybe I can fill a spread just with the items that I received from her. So maybe here. Sometimes I don't even know if I want to keep all of this. These were all in one Happy Mail letter, and so I kept them, and now I'm going through them, and so I'm not going to keep this, but I'm going to stick all of these things in here. And basically, that's also the reason why I don't want to share my journaling process this week, because I think I want to include some of those feelings that I have right now into my journal. Is this going to survive if I'm going to have this? So I'm not having a thick, maybe it's just, oh yeah, it's basically like multi-layered, so I can just take this off and it's much thinner this way. And then, but for this kind of stuff I need the glue stick, because the tape doesn't stick well with, I'm pointing over here, this tape doesn't stick well on these fuzzy back papers. Yeah, but I do want to show you, if you are a member of my Ko-fi, I shared a blog post last week on my journals and how far I have been progressing or not progressing. I actually was able to take the time, I think I mentioned that in the blog post, that instead of filming before going on a Sunday adventure, I was just sharing the blog post and then taking the hour that was still left before I was going to leave. No, don't know. I think I'm going to stick this here, up here. I'm going to stick this down first. Yeah, that I was going to use that 45 minutes instead of stressing myself out, possibly stressing myself out with filming a video, editing it, and getting it uploaded before or after my Sunday adventure last week. I shared a blog post where I shared my progress on things, and so I will show you how far I have come in those 45 minutes that I didn't take to edit the video, but that I took to journal. That's so funny. This is a cat. This is a raccoon, possibly. I believe that that's the name of this animal. I'm just going to stick this down here, and maybe, what if, let's see if this works. What if I so if I cut this off here, I'm just going to do this. And yes, I am going to stick this in there as well. It's just the gluing that brings me joy. Oh man. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to cut this down like so, and then it'll fit. Yep. And then I can just stick this down here, or even here, like so. I'm just going, yep, this is nice. I like this. Maybe I'll get some alpha stickers and put the name of the sender, Casey, in here. And she sent me, I think that was the, yes, that was the package where she sent me the zipper bags that are mason jars. I need to check if I have them still, or if I still have one. But they were so fun to use to send out ink samples to friends. This is a big one. She also sent a big one, but they were smaller, more the size like this. And I was able to fit 5 samples into those bags. And they were so much fun. And every time I used them, I was like, let's use another bag from Casey. I don't know if you're the same, but I am definitely one of those people who remembers these things, first of all, where I got them from, and also it feels like I'm connected, you know. It just makes using those bags more special. I just want to show you what it looks like when you have too much of everything. And I just can't throw these things away. I don't want to throw them away. Sometimes I use them in my weekly journal, and I just had the idea of using these, so I pulled them out. These were at the top. I love the colorful stickers, so this one has been used more. So is there still S's? Yes. I am just going to start sticking things down. I don't want to use the same color, so I'm just going to not use the A in the beginning. Okay. Let's use this one. Okay. See, these feel like I could also use them in Happy Mail, you know, for maybe a hello or something, and then a Y. I'm trying, if you're new here, then you might not know that I used to do lots of scrapbooking, especially Project Live, and then I went into creative traveler's notebook spreads and stuff. And now I'm trying to find creative ways on how to repurpose all of the things that I still really like, but I'm no longer doing those scrapbooking layouts. And this is totally usable. Some of the things are way too fat, but I might just leave this out. As I said, for Happy Mail, for my journal. Maybe I can use those up, or use them so much that I can pass the rest along to someone, or in the case that I can't make any more words from this, I might just, you know, throw them away, because I think I have used them enough. So I am done. This one is still loose. It's one of those beautiful cards that Brandy sends in her Happy Mail. And I love how she describes what she does with them. And I have such a hard time either passing them along to someone else who might enjoy reading about this, or sticking them down somewhere, because I don't want to stick them down here and then not being able to read this. So, but do you want me to flip through? Oh, let me secure this card first, and then I'll flip through it, and hopefully I'm not going to show you the address on that one card. Okay, and there's another cat hair right here. Alrighty. All right, so this is a postcard I received. There's wrapping paper that my friend used, cut out of a card, a dragon. I think it's the year of the dragon this year. Then this was sent to me by Jane. I made a Twisby Mini Rose Gold placeholder for something. This was a card that I made when I had a quick stint in a plotter Bible size. If I had thought about that, the Bible size, and realized that it was actually personal size, I wouldn't even have tried that, because I remember that I didn't like the personal size planners when I used them the first time around. So stupid. If it's called Bible size, then you're just using it. I don't know what I was thinking this year. This was one of Brandy's cards that I really wanted to use. A letter, one of those one day at a time. These are included in her Extravagant Hope kits. This cat I stuck in here. There's another stamp collecting. I do that too. You saw this before. There, I still have space for little stickers or stuff that I get sent and I want to use. Now I created another page to put on here. And I think maybe possibly this one, maybe this was from here. And I stuck this in here. There is another note that I received. This Casey spread that I made. And then this is the postcard. And I think that's all there is. No, that's not true. I put these boats here because I really liked how they looked. There was a mermaid stamp on the back already. So I just sewed this bag in. So I could technically I could put stuff in here as well. This is from a coloring book. There's a sticker from Sophie and Pike. And this is basically like a hinge. From the transparency that I used on the other side, or a transparent paper, and I just stuck it out, and then I was able to stick this paper on there. Coloring book, just Midori paper here. This is I call these hinges because you could stick something bigger on here and use this as background there. And then an upside down letter. So I really like how this is turning out. I just love that it's so easy to use. And then I'm just going to throw this back on the bottom here and throw the new stuff on top. And then I'll see this notebook in another 4 to 6 months. There is no rhyme or reason on how I stick things down. I don't really journal. It's just, other people do Zentangles. I stick things into a junk journal that I made myself. All right, I think even though I said I was going to have to sort through this pile, this is a huge pile, and I think I'm going to get through this better if I do this off camera and just end this here. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you. Oh no, hold on. I wanted to show you these spreads, but I see you again next time. I wanted to show you, I think I already finished all of those, but this one where I said that I needed to get in, I already had uninked this pen, and so I just added these two here. Then I finished that whole spread here where I type wrote the Hilfezoff story. This one was one where I daily journaled with the pen that I inked that day, and this is this week. I actually did something during the week. Yep, that's how this went. Thank you so much for watching again. I will see you again soon. Until then, bye.